Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 10th, 2025 Eugene City Council meeting. Thank you for joining us in this hybrid meeting format. Anyone wishing to access the meeting remotely can do so by watching the live stream on our website, the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21, or by following the access instructions on the city's public webcasts and meeting materials page of the City of Eugene website. Tonight's meeting will include a public hearing and a public comment period. If you wish to speak and have not already done so, please fill out a request to speak form on our public webcast and meeting materials webpage or at the entrance to this room. We will accept request to speak forms until about 7:35, about 5 minutes from now. These forms will be used to generate the random order of speakers and to correctly enter speakers' names into the public record. The public comment period will be limited to 90 minutes or conclude by 10 p.m., whichever occurs first. If the number of speakers exceeds the time we have allotted, we will encourage speakers to consider abbreviating their remarks so that the maximum number of speakers can be heard. For those joining the meeting remotely, for the public hearing, please ensure that the name you signed up with matches your screen name on Zoom. For those joining the meeting remotely, for the public comment period, you are welcome also to email your comments to City Council. That is true of anyone attending or wanting to email comments to City Council and Mayor. As a reminder, Council's meetings and rules of conduct include no flags, signs, loud or disruptive language, noise or conduct that obstructs the business of the Council. Please keep the room quiet and respectful for all speakers, and you are welcome to wave your hands in silent support. Additionally, we encourage all those who are ill or who have had close contact with others who are ill to join our meetings remotely rather than in person. We have masks available in the lobby if you need one. In case of medical emergency, an automated external defibrillator, an AED, is located on the counter behind staff at the west side of this room. Emergency exits are through the double doors located at the back of the room and the double doors near the front of the room, and the doors to the patio can also be used as needed. And with that, I call the March 10th, 2025 meeting of Eugene City Council to order. We begin with a land acknowledgement. Since time immemorial, the Kalapuya people have been the indigenous stewards to our region, building dynamic communities, maintaining balance with wildlife, and enacting sustainable land practices. This land acknowledgement is a way of resisting the erasure of indigenous histories and to honor Native communities by inviting truth and reconciliation. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. As we consider the impacts of colonization, we also acknowledge the strength and resiliency of displaced indigenous people. The City of Eugene is built within the traditional homelands known as Kalapuya Alihi. Kalapuya descendants are citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians of Oregon. They continue to make contributions in our communities here and across the lands. We express our respect for the inherent political sovereignty of all federally recognized tribal nations and indigenous people who live in the state of Oregon and across the nation. Our first item on tonight's agenda is ceremonial matters related to 4 proclamations that I've asked the city to prepare for the month of March. And here we are, March 2025, in like a lion, as they say. As with previous months, I'm sharing these proclamations in full through social media channels, at community events, and via the City of Eugene's website, so I will not be reading them all in full tonight with this announcement, but just want to remind everyone that proclamations are ceremonial documents requested and signed by the mayor. And this month, we are very fortunate all month to be celebrating Women's History Month in Eugene, so collectively aware and grateful of the work that women do today and every day for generations to support opportunity, stability, and equality in our communities. Secondly, last week we marked Women in Construction Week in the City of Eugene, and we are so fortunate to have a strong local chapter of the National Association of Women in Construction, Chapter 77, working to support the advancement of women in the construction industry and our skilled trades in general. Third, in a few weeks, on March 20th, we will celebrate the turning of the seasons in Eugene with the spring equinox. Spring is coming, as they say, and that is something that we all have to celebrate in the Southern Willamette Valley. And finally, on the last day of this month, March 31st, we celebrate Transgender Day of Visibility in the City of Eugene. It is the strongest expression of a thriving community when people feel loved and supported for being exactly who they are. And for over a decade, this council has made very clear statements about Eugene's commitments to individual rights, inclusion, belonging, and the protection of people from discrimination based on gender. And I want to specifically thank and lift up our trans community for their courage, resilience, and connectedness during this very difficult time. As a community, we value our diversity of perspectives, and we stand together, and we will celebrate on March 31st. And so with that, thank you. This concludes our first agenda item. Our second item on tonight's agenda are committee reports and items of interest. I will now open the floor for committee reports and items of interest from council. Councilors, as a reminder, please remember to press the button on the bottom of your microphone to unmute when it is your turn to speak. Councilor Groves.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here to report on the Intergovernmental Relations Committee. The IGR committee met on Wednesday, March 3rd to review the legislative update memo from the IGR manager and elect a new chair, which after a brief discussion, I was elected to serve as chair for 2025. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Councilor Evans, who was the chair for 2024 and did a very good job of keeping us on point and moving us through the process. So I will try to follow in your shoes there, Councilor. The committee reviewed the existing priorities and growing list of Priority 1 bills, and we took formal positions on 2 bills. The first, adopting a support position for House Bill 3158, which increases the county recording fee that is credited to the County Assessment and Taxation Fund and indexes the fee to inflation. We saw this as a collaborative position with Lane County to secure funding to adequately staff the assessment function in our county. 2, adopting a neutral position for Senate Bill 916, which provides that an individual otherwise eligible for unemployment insurance benefits is not disqualified for any week that the individual's employment is due to a labor dispute in active progress at the individual's place of employment. The next issue is the committee was updated by the IGR manager on 2 projects that were proposed for the federal congressionally directed spending consideration. This includes a $3 million request to support Eugene Airport concourse upgrades and $3 million to support EPD to replace aging equipment, including body-worn cameras, dash camera, and taser units. These projects were submitted to Senator Wyden and Merkley for consideration for the FY26 federal budget. And the last item I have is the IGR's committee's next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 2nd at 1:30 p.m. Please let myself or the IGR manager know if you have items to add to the agenda. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other updates? I will then just briefly add my Oh, is there another? Councilor Ye, thank you. There are 2 more updates. Please go ahead.
I thought you meant for IGR. So I am very excited to announce that the Neighborhood Association in Harlow, the Harlow Neighbors, has been working really hard to reactivate, and they are having their first meeting in a while this Wednesday, March 12th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Mohawk Mackenzie Grange Hall, which is the white Grange Hall on Willackenzie. It's pretty easy to find if you live in the neighborhood. You know where it is. So anyone who lives in Harlow that's been missing their neighborhood association and would be interested in joining them, please do.
Thank you, Councilor Keating.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to turn the community's attention to the Lane Council of Government, who held their annual awards dinner Friday night at the Armory in Cottage Grove. It was an event that was also a fundraiser for senior and disability services. I want to thank Commissioners Buck and Trieger for attending, eWeb Commissioners Sonia Carlson and Timothy Morris. I want to congratulate our very own Ty Pruce Zimmerman, who won an award recognizing, and I'm probably getting the name of the award wrong, that he is an up-and-coming leader in Lane County. So I congratulate Ty on his accolades. And my boss, Senator James Manning, was awarded 2024 Outstanding Elected Official of the Year. So congratulations to Senator Manning, and thank you to LCOG, not only for putting on a stellar event, but for all Lane Council of Government does to make the critically important connections in our community, but most importantly, helping seniors and our most vulnerable community members in need. Senior and disability services certainly need amplification, And if you'd like to learn more, go to lcog.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. I will also highlight 2 points. One, congratulations to the Disorient Film Festival, which wrapped up this past week and was a part of many fantastic things happening in this community with First Friday last Friday. Another that you should look for the next time you're at the Holt Center for the Performing Arts, on the mezzanine level, there is now hanging in what is a new contemporary Indigenous gallery in the Holt Center mezzanine. That was opened on Friday as a part of First Friday events in Eugene. Really fantastic collection of work that is hanging there, and I believe the first new contemporary work added to that space in a very long time. So the next time you're at the Holt Center, you'll see something new. Take a look, and it will be changing with future exhibits. With that, this concludes our second agenda item. Our third agenda item on tonight's agenda is the consent calendar, approval of City Council minutes, and approval of City Council tentative agenda. Question? Yes?
Mayor, I just have a quick question, and it's mostly for council leadership, as framing it as a request. I don't necessarily see a pathway to pull it off of the minutes from January 22nd, 2025. But when it indicates councilors are absent, that was the day after my mom had passed. Obviously, I took time off of work, bereavement time, and I was not present. But there's no mechanism that I'm aware of to indicate that that's an excused absence or other, as to indicating why. Again, I'm not asking for council to take action on it tonight. I want to advance and approve the minutes as written, but I would like council leadership, council president, council vice president, to talk about in our operating agreement a process by which we could denote in the future a difference between an excused absence or just an absence.
Thank you, Counselor.
For instance, yeah, thank you. I see some councilors have question marks above their head around this. I would submit that any communication to councilor leadership, the mayor, the manager, that you're not going to be here would be an excused absence. But if someone's just not here, that would be an absence. And there are mechanisms by which to hold someone accountable for just not being here. So I just wanted to find a way to memorialize excused versus unexcused absences in the future, please.
Thank you, Counselor. Council President, did you have a reply?
Councilor Keating, I think we can take that up in further discussion down the line. I don't have a problem with it. I think that's an appropriate request. And I don't want to speak for Councilor Leach, but I think that, there's a difference between excused absences and some of us not being here as a result of whatever the case may be, is travel issues or whatever the case is, because a lot of us sometimes are either going to be late or we're going to miss a meeting, due to other things going on in our lives. So I would make that note, and that we take that up in a different form of conversation for council at a later time.
Thank you. Councilor Zelenka.
Yeah, trying to think of a time, maybe Mike, you can, in our 18 years where there's been an unexcused absence. I can't even recall one. There may have been, but I think the reason that we don't make the distinction because almost they're all excused, and so there's no point in making a distinction between the two. You're always welcome to adjust the minutes to say why you're absent if you feel so. I think that would be kind of a distinction without a difference if we were to make excused, unexcused. It would just add another word to typing and use more ink.
Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mayor. Our process sessions tend to last long enough, I suspect, but Councilor Zelenka covered my feelings well, but I would just only add that if such a distinction is to be made, and a subjective way to do it should be a process section rather than just council officers, in my opinion. So at some future point. Thank you.
Thank you all. With that, I will turn to the council president and ask for a motion to be put forward.
Move to approve the items on consent calendar 1.
Second.
Thank you. Seeing no additional discussion from council, I'll now take a vote for this motion. All in favor, please lock in your votes on the tablets in front of you.
No, it's not showing
Got
up.
to show up first. Raise our hands.
Tablets
No,
are not
it's not
responding
working.
currently.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
Now in progress. Thank you all for your patience. And we have, that motion passes as a vote of 8-0. Thank you, and that concludes our third agenda item. Thank you also, staff. Moving on to our fourth agenda item, public hearing and action for 2025 to 2031 Capital Improvement Program. City Manager, would you please introduce the topic?
Thank you, Mayor. This public hearing provides an opportunity for the council to hear from the public regarding the 2025 through 2031 Capital Improvement Program, the CIP, for the City of Eugene. The Budget Committee reviewed the proposed CIP on February 12th and unanimously voted to recommend that council adopt the CIP as presented with no amendments. The CIP and the projects included in the plan are derived from previously adopted city council plans and policy documents, maintenance monitoring programs, legal mandates, and state and federal grant funding. These plans and policies, as well as the CIP, are developed through various forms of public engagement. The CIP is shared with the community through the Budget Committee, the Planning Commission, neighborhood associations, and the city's website. The 25 through 31 CIP requests a total of $481.2 million for capital projects over the next 6 years. The first 2 years of the CIP serves as the basis for the 25 through 27 biennial capital budget, totaling approximately $192.6 million. Staff are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. I now open the public hearing. Staff, can you please share a list of the speakers on screen and announce the first speakers?
Thank you, Mayor. We have no speakers for this hearing.
Then we will now close the public hearing. Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Seeing none, I will turn to the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to adopt the proposed 2025-2031 Capital Improvement Program as recommended by the Budget Committee.
Any
Second.
additional discussion from council? Seeing none, I'll now take a vote for this motion. Councilors, please lock in your votes in the tablets in front of you. The motion passes with a vote of 8-0. Thank you. That concludes our fourth agenda item. I will now turn to the city manager to introduce our fifth agenda item this evening, action on an ordinance concerning stormwater management facilities, amending sections 7.010 and 7.143 of the Eugene Code, 1971, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is a proposed ordinance amending Eugene Code Chapter 7, Stormwater Management Facilities for public improvements in the public way pursuant to the city's updated NPDES permit. There was a public hearing on the proposed amendments February 18th, and there was no public testimony and no council discussion.
Thank you. If there are no questions from council, I will turn to, Councilor Clark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say real quick that during that public hearing on the 18th, there was public concern, there was a question, and some email input from some folks, and I just wanted to say thank you to Emily Jerome, the city's assistant city attorney, and to Rich, our public works director, for going out of their way to meet and talk with some folks and work through that and come to an accommodation that worked with this new ordinance and makes everybody happy and makes everything work. So that's the way the system is supposed to work, and I appreciated their efforts. So
Thank you, Councilor Clark, and you're so efficient, you're actually the next item is the one that we did that on. There's two stormwater items, but we'll take all of your gratitude if you want
This
to repeat
one,
it.
next one, yeah, I'm sure it applies to all of them, so, you know.
Seeing no other questions for council on this item, I'll turn to the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to adopt the ordinance at attachment A to this AIS entitled An Ordinance Concerning Stormwater Management Facilities, amending sections 7.010 and 7.143 of the Eugene Code 1971 and providing an effective date.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? Seeing none, we'll take a vote for this motion.
Locked it before.
Seeing Councilor Keating's vote as an affirmative, as a yes, the motion passes with a vote of 8-0. Thank you. That concludes our 5th agenda item. I will now turn to the city manager to introduce the 6th agenda item, which is action on an ordinance concerning stormwater management facilities, amending sections 7.010 and 7.143 of the Eugene Code 1971 and providing an effective date.
That was actually item number 5. We're now on to item number 6, which is the Chapter 9 Code Amendment.
Take 2.
It's okay.
I think I need to look at my other agenda to pull the correct numbers. So we'll start again. This agenda item is an ordinance concerning stormwater management, amending sections 9.6791, 9.6792, 9.6793, and 9.8030 of the Eugene Code 1971 and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Perfect. This item is a proposed ordinance amending Eugene Code Chapter 9, stormwater development standards which apply to land use applications and development permits pursuant to the city's updated NPDES permit. There was a public hearing on the proposed amendments February 18th, 2025. In response to the concerns raised at the public hearing, staff prepared a revised proposed ordinance including an exemption for previous land use approvals for single-unit dwellings and duplexes. Thanks.
Thank you. Any additional discussion from council? Thank you for that clarification.
Councilor Clark.
Councilor Clark.
What I said before.
Thank you. Reiterating and attached to this discussion. Any additional discussion? Seeing none, I will now take a vote for this motion.
I need to put the motion
Oh, I'm sorry,
in
Council
play
President.
first, Mayor.
I'm looping past with my
Yeah.
typos.
No worries.
If there are no further questions from council, I will ask the council president to put a motion forward.
Move to adopt the ordinance at attachment A to this AIS entitled An Ordinance Concerning Stormwater Management, amending sections 9.6791, 9.6792, 9.6793, and 9.8030 of the Eugene Code 1971 and providing an effective date.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion from council? Seeing none, I'll now take a vote for this motion. Council locking in their votes in their tablets, and the motion passes as a vote of 8-0. Thank you, Councilor Leach. Analog also always works. And that concludes our 6th agenda item. The motion passes with a vote of 8-0. The last item on tonight's agenda is the public comment period. Public comment period is an opportunity for individuals to speak to the city council on any city-related issues except for those items which have already been heard by a hearings official. Staff, can you please share a list and the number of speakers that have signed up to speak by 7:35 tonight and announce the first speakers?
Thank you, Mayor. I will announce 2 speakers' names at a time. When you are called to speak, please state your name and your ward or neighborhood, if known, before beginning your comments. When you are announced as the next speaker, please move to the seat in the front row designated for the next speaker. When it is your turn, you may come to the podium. Please leave any bags you may have with you at your seat. If you have documents to give counsel, please place them in the basket near the podium. You will have 2.5 minutes to speak. The timer will flash red when you have 15 seconds remaining. Your microphone will be muted at the 2.5-minute mark. Please note that use of profanity is prohibited, and any instances of profanity will result in immediate termination of speaking privileges. Our first speaker tonight is Lynn Woodrich, followed by Curtis Blankenship.
My name's Lynn Woodrich. I'm the active Bethel Community Co-Chair. I've lived in the Bethel area over 30 years. I live in Ward 8. I'm speaking for the active Bethel Community Board. I will continue to repeat this speech until something gets done. I'm aware that there's a budget shortfall, but Bethel cannot be put on the back burner. Bethel needs a police substation on Highway 99 now. The city located the Lindholm Center in the active Bethel community. It's a magnet of services for the homeless all over the United States. You need to either move it or take care of the businesses and residents that are being impacted by the situation it's causing. You've been getting regular emails from the owner of the Gilbert Shopping Center with photos of the tents and garbage accumulating along Highway 99. There have been incidents where people visiting our local businesses have been threatened or attacked. The community safety payroll tax needs to support Bethel too. Some of the funds need to be routed to Bethel. The city hired a downtown incident commander in 2023 to focus on public safety and cleanliness, ensuring appropriate police presence and coordinating resources from across the organization in a rapid response team. Bethel needs this. Thank you for moving along the public health standards. Closing the gaps in policies to protect people should help to remove any questions about companies locating in inappropriate places. I haven't heard that a decision has been made yet. The H&S Energy Group, a limited liability company that has been in business for only 3 months, is asking for an I-3 heavy industrial zone verification dated December 31st. To put a bulk plant for motor fuels known as a tank farm on Kintry Street in the Trainsong neighborhood, between Highway 99 and Northwest Expressway. It would be a distribution and storage center for gasoline, diesel, and other fuel-related products and must be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Our next speakers are Curtis Blankenship, followed by Josh Easterland. Is there a Curtis Blankenship in the room? All right, I'm going to move on to our next speaker and call for Curtis one more time. Our next speaker is Josh Easterland.
Hello again, City Councilors. Nice to see you. I'm Josh Easterland with Equitable Access Eugene, also out of Ward 8, I keep forgetting to say. And I'm here to, again, request that you consider decriminalizing psychedelic plants and fungi so that people can have more equitable access of it. I actually kind of wanted to focus in on our name and how we came up with it. You know, in 2020, 60% of Lane County, and I assume actually higher in Eugene, but I couldn't find the statistic, voted to legalize the psilocybin service centers. But I think a lot of those people didn't realize just how expensive it was going to be, you know, like about $1,000 at the baseline to do one psilocybin treatment. And so, you know, by decriminalizing here at the city level, what we're doing is allowing kind of more a community-centered ability where people can grow and access their own. They can share with their friends and their neighbors, and they can, you know, kind of keep it here locally. Another statistic I found is that we've served, as of May 2023, 9,000 people access the psilocybin service centers, but somewhere between 80 to 95% of those people were from out of state. You know, so we're not even really helping our local community quite as much as we could be, partially, I think, due to the expense. How much time do I have? Let's see. I've actually got a couple people who are going to come up and speak next, give some public testimony about how they have been benefited by their experiences with psychedelic plants and fungi. And I'm also going to be out of town next meeting, so I hope to have some more people come up and talk in my stead. But I look forward to seeing you guys the next time I get the chance. So take care.
Thank you, Josh. This is one last call for Curtis Blankenship. All right, our next speakers are Joel Vaughn, followed by Robin Bloomgarden.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Joel Vaughn. I reside in Trainsong in Ward 7, and I am co-chair of the Trainsong Neighbors. I'm here tonight to address the city's funding, and I would like to add that these opinions and ideas are specifically my own. While I support the idea of the fire fee, I think we should find new revenue streams to fund our city's infrastructure. The fire fee places too much stress on the residents simply trying to survive. The recent eWeb rate increases are a direct blow to Eugene citizens already struggling with the rising cost of living. These increases jeopardize basic necessities for many Eugene residents. We must acknowledge this burden and seek solutions that don't solely fall on the residents. I propose that the council adjust the transient lodging tax for the city of Eugene to supplement revenue, rather than relying solely on the fire fee, which already doesn't fully cover the cuts in city funding. It's important to clarify that property taxes are based solely on market value, regardless of whether the owner lives in Oregon or not. However, we must address the reality that property owners who rent their properties out will pass eWeb rent increases on to renters, exacerbating their financial strain. The fire fee is no different in this aspect. To mitigate the immediate impact of the eWeb rate hikes and the possible fire fee, I urge the council to first implement a 2-year freeze on rent increases in the Eugene area. This will prevent landlords from unfairly burdening renters with the added costs and instead take from the owner's bottom line. Finally, I suggest proposing a tax on the corporations that purchase Eugene properties purely as rental investments. We need regulations that prioritize housing for Eugene residents, not corporate profit. We must give the people of Eugene the means to survive in their own city. Let's find solutions that distribute the financial burden relatively and ensure a sustainable future for all Eugene residents. I also wanted to thank Lynn for getting us reactivated in Trainsong, and I agree with the mushroom guy.
Thank you, Joel. Our next speakers are Robin Bloomgarden, followed by Stefan Streck.
Okay. Hi, Robin Bloomgarden, Ward 8, and I want to start a conversation. I will be a little bit more organized next time, but I don't use a cell phone. There are people out there who do not use cell phones. I'm one of them. If there is an emergency, I don't have a clue what's going on until the wave comes over my house or whatever. I mean, back in the day, in the 50s, there were sirens. Every town had sirens, and they had different sounds for different things. There must be in a garage somewhere here in Eugene. Couldn't we think about putting some sirens up so that people who aren't on their phone when there's a disaster would know about it a little bit ahead of time? Then they could go and listen to the radio, go online, do whatever the hell they need to do so they know when the wave is coming over from up the river with all the dams or whatever. I would like to start that discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Our next speakers are Stefan Streck, followed by Scott Oakley.
Yo. Good day, and thank you, everybody, for coming down here tonight. My name is Stefan Streck, also known as Ace Dog in this city. Feel free to bark or yip at me if you have any questions. Now, I was made aware in the local paper recently that there's an issue with the old Lane County building, LCC, being bought, or not really bought, but apparently it's been proposed to pay millions of dollars for a private company to take possession of the city property and use it for their benefit, which seems like a bit of an oversight and continuance of mismanagement. And people might recall that the steam plant, just a few blocks away, was sold a few years ago for $1. And it has not been developed. It's an eyesore with broken windows, and it's a pretty sad example for the deal making. Now, the city is millions of dollars over budget, and when you don't have much money, when you're millions of dollars over budget, that means you can't afford to make change for this $2 bill. That's a hard situation. So if you can't afford to make change for a $2 bill, can you afford to pay someone millions of dollars to take property to enrich themselves? I'm not an accountant, I'm not an expert, but maybe something to think about. And, you know, some people might say you've got to have the cards. And as an alternative, I brought some cards down here today. Vintage 1995 Pokemon cards. You might see, just so everyone knows, they're shiny cards, which makes them extra valuable. I'm willing to trade the city, not all for one piece, but I'm willing to give you guys one card per piece of prime downtown or riverfront real estate. And I can, sky high. Standing off.
Thank you, Stefan. Your time is concluded. Our next speakers are Scott Oakley, followed by Scott Fife.
Good evening. My name is Scott Oakley. South Hills, I'm not sure off Willamette what exact ward number that is. I've lived here in Eugene for more than 9 years now. Oregon is a wonderful state. Eugene is a pretty nice city. I believe Eugene could be a wonderful city. However, my perception of Eugene has not gotten better over time. It has actually gotten worse. A city is more than buildings and pavement. It is community. And this city has a role in building, growing, and maintaining community. However, for years now, our community has been in somewhat of a state of decline. Several years ago, Eugene held coffin car races. Some of you may remember them. I was a competitor in both years of the races. In fact, I came in 7th in the second year. It was a wonderful event that was well attended by many Eugenians. When year 3 came around, it didn't happen. I asked why. Money. It always seems to come down to money. There is not enough money, revenue, in the city to build, grow, or even maintain community. Without revenue, what suffers? What suffers the least are critical services, fire, police. They always seem to get the money that they want. What suffers most is everything else. Yes, everything that makes Eugene a community. Do any of you use the city pools, parks, community centers? Did you drive on any of the roads with de-icer on them this winter? These things that make our community better and safer cost money. Eugene and all cities in Oregon are constrained by law, measures 5 and 50, in how they can raise revenue. These constraints, not waste, have put us against a revenue wall. Facing this revenue wall, this council enacted the fire service fee in February. I applaud you for doing so. But let's be honest, it's not really about fire services. This is about that revenue wall. A wall is not really the correct word. You can get over around a wall. This is more like a cliff that all of us as Eugenians are about to go over. So you did the right thing. You put forth and passed the fire service fee. And then what happened? Next was the Chamber of Commerce and their effort to stop the fire service fee. If anyone associated with the chambers here are listening, they should be ashamed of themselves. This city is running on empty.
Thank you, Scott. Your time is concluded. Our next speakers are Scott Fife, followed by Claudette DeClaudio Vera.
Okay, my name is Scott Fife, and I'm a resident of Ward 1. And the reason I'm talking to you today is I had a press conference last week pointing out the $11.5 million budget shortfall. And there's one reason we have these budget shortfalls, and it stands for, it's MUPTE. It's the multi-unit property tax exemption. You passed one after another of these things, and you're basically setting us up for future generations who are going to have the same kind of budget hole. And then it's pitting citizens against the library. I mean, now I don't know, I went to a meeting for I'm part of the Downtown Neighborhood Alliance, and it was at Condame and Obie were there. And I found it kind of ironic because the library had just had shortened hours as a result of paying for their last ones. I don't know what was passed today, but I know that there were two MUPPs that were passed earlier today. I mean, these guys are making, the city is growing so fast, and the only reason that we have all the student housing is because they did away with the ACT tests, and so any student can come in. But, it's just like every time, I don't know if you saw this article last week in the Register Guard, but they talked about climate change, and one of the big things on the list besides oil, gas, and whatnot was concrete. And so you're asking citizens to subsidize concrete production. They've got better ways to do it, but really we don't need to be, the city is growing fast enough. The last thing we want to do is take away their tax base. And I agree with the gentleman that was talking about the coffin rations. Also, Sunday streets, a lot of things that when I first moved here 16 years ago, it was really cool, and we had all this stuff going, but now we just have to subsidize developers. They don't need it. They've done enough. We've gave them enough largesse. Basically, and now we've got the Chamber of Commerce, so we're going to have to spend money fighting them. But in some ways, I just use tax after tax, fee, all these different things. Death by 1,000 cuts is basically what the council puts on the city. And those are regressive taxes. This $10 tax, well, that adds up to $120 a year. And that, and some people it's a mere pittance, but other people, it's like the gentleman said earlier today, it is a problem, And then also EWEB gave an automatic, plus their, they gave a $5 a month tax to our, I don't know what you call it, but to the EWEB bill. And that's, on top of the rate change. So everybody on the bottom especially is getting the squeeze, and you guys are...
Thank you, Scott. Your time is concluded. Our next speakers are Claudette de Claudio Vera, followed by Aya Cockrum.
Hi, everyone. Good night. My name's Claudette Delian Claudio Vera. I live in Ward 2, and I'm here with Equitable Access Eugene to ask you to decriminalize psychedelics, plants, and fungi. I've been working personally with psychedelics for a long time, and the change of self that I had before and after has a lot of benefits in my childhood traumas, depression, anxiety, self-esteem problems, and beyond other, feeling more connected to myself and to the earth and my community. And there's like literally a bunch of different stories that I can tell you about how these medicines have helped me, considering that they also are sacraments for a lot of different indigenous communities. And yeah, maybe another time I would come with more like information. Right now I just wanted to speak from my heart, like in different ways that these plants have helped me. And yeah, thank you all for listening. Good night.
Thank you, Claudette. Our next speakers are Aya Cockrum, followed by Misty Bowman.
Good evening, Mayor Knutson, City Council, and City Manager Maderi. Thank you for offering this time to give testimony tonight and for passing the fire fee. My name is Aya Cockrum. I am the Oregon Statewide Energy Transition Organizer at the Breach Collective. I was born and raised in Eugene, and I am currently raising my family in Ward 1. The Fossil for Eugene Coalition sent you a letter today via email. Here's a copy for each of you. Please review it and contact us with any questions to discuss further. As we figure out our next steps in pursuing building electrification, it is critical that the Council retain all regulatory authority at its disposal. And as the federal government is actively hostile to climate action, local action is more important than ever before. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Aya. Our next speakers are Misty Bowman, followed by David Eigel.
Good evening. My name is Misty Bowman. I live in Ward 7. I'm a dark sky Oregon advocate, and I'm here to discuss light pollution. Firstly, a big and warm thank you to Sarah McKinney, our Deputy City Recorder, and everyone at Public Works for their time and patience with my public records request. With that said, Eugene's light pollution is literally the worst in Oregon, and I'm not exaggerating. I have in my hand Dark Sky Oregon's latest Sky Quality Meter report. A sky quality meter is a device that measures light pollution. We have more than 53 sky quality meters in Oregon. At least 2 are in Portland, 1 is in Eugene, and the one in Eugene measures worse light pollution. On a clear night, we are 20% more light polluted than Southwest and Southeast Portland. On a cloudy night, we are 25% more light polluted. I'm including the report in the council's inbox, and I'm emailing the City Council the report as well. I've also included a handwritten letter urging Mayor Knudsen to join the Governor of Oregon, the Mayor of Sisters, Oregon, and officials all over the world and proclaim April 21st through 28th Dark Sky International Week. With Oregon House Bill 2531 coming into effect, making LEDs all but mandatory in Oregon, I fear without action and awareness, lights in Eugene will continue to trend towards the whitest and brightest when Dark Sky International approved LEDs are available. To quote the Sustainable Urban Design Handbook by Mayor Knudsen, retrofitting light fixtures may require additional infrastructure, but often reduces long-term operating and maintenance costs. Eugene is a beautiful city known for protecting its environment. Now let us protect our environment at night, and by doing so, we will regain our stars and shine like our nickname, the Emerald Valley, even after sunset. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Misty. Our next speakers are David Eigel, followed by Joanne Zumbrunnan.
David Eigel, Ward 1. I'm pleased to announce my new website, How Faulty Scholarship Led to the Dunn Hall Denaming Scandal. It traces how in 1959 Eckhart Toy misinterpreted a letter Dean Henry Sheldon had written to a mutual friend of Sheldon and Professor Frederick Dunn. Toy misinterpreted the letter as Sheldon writing that Dunn was the leader of the local clan. Sheldon was actually laughing at the idea that Dunn would be leading a group of crooked, money-hustling fraternal order salesmen who were claiming, among many other absurdities, that many of the U of O faculty were secret Jesuits. Toy did not research Dunn's supposed leadership in 1959 because he wasn't writing about it in 1959. In 1959, it would have been easy to learn from individuals with firsthand knowledge of the outstanding character of Professor Dunn. In 1962, Dunn Hall was dedicated by U of O President Arthur Fleming, the noted civil rights advocate. No one objected or expressed concern. In 1992, Eckhart Toy published a non-peer-reviewed article that referenced Dean Sheldon's letter. This was his only evidence of Dunn's supposed Klan leadership. In the previous 70 years, no one had ever published anything about Dunn's being the leader of the Klan. Toy knew so little about the authentic Dunn that he didn't even mention Dunn Hall's dedication in 1962. Had he been aware of that, that would have caused him to say, wait a minute, what's going on here? But he didn't. In 2016, the U of O Dunn report noted that it should be noted they did almost no additional research. And none of these writers bothered to examine materials that were in and are in the U of O archives that make a joke out of the notion that Dunn was the head of this Klan. With this in mind, I'm asking each and every one of you to contact the U of O President's Office. The trustees are meeting next week. Please contact them all, anybody in the audience, and just simply say, you've said that you have this evidence that Dunn was the head of the local Klan, but you can't produce it. You haven't been able to produce it. It doesn't exist. Let's get this matter cleared up after all these years. Aren't you getting bored with my showing up? Come on, let's get it done. There's nothing left.
Thank you, David. Our next speakers are Joanne Zumbrunnan, followed by Danny Patch.
My name is Joanne Zumbrunnan. I'm a mental health therapist in Eugene off a country club road. I don't know what word that is. I'm here in support of the Equitable Access Eugene, in support of psilocybin for mental health use, for personal use. As stated already, and I think you already all know, the service centers in town that have been approved are helpful, they are expensive, they are organized by the Oregon Health Authority. They do have research to prove that things are helping with mental health issues. You may also know that research shows that this is a medicine that is not addictive. It doesn't create any sort of a community issue. People are calm usually. People are introspective. It works on mental health because it helps people with anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, end-of-life care, death and grief. Remember when we use medical marijuana to help people in Eugene and Oregon with cancer? They treated themselves at home with marijuana safely, effectively. People died comfortably. This medicine has a power to help people similarly. We have a lot of issues, as you all have heard from your constituents today. It's a privilege to be calm. It's a privilege to be at peace. Maybe it doesn't need to be a privilege for just those that can afford it. I'm grateful that we have a state that is progressive enough to realize that this medicine is helpful. It's been true for millennia in other cultures. We don't have to criminalize people who are using it for their own personal use. I welcome each of you to take a dose of psilocybin, and I promise you it will help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Our next speakers are Danny Patch, followed by Walker Mort.
I'd like to thank the City Council for answering some of my questions last time we met. And you so eloquently gave recommendations for the city manager's office because I questioned what was going on there. I think $11.5 million deficit is not a very good job performance. And isn't it coincidental that that's pretty much what you bought this building for, plus remodeling? The numbers just make you look like you're lying to us. They just do. I still call for an audit of the Eugene City finances because how you bought this building, you said you scrimped and saved. It sounds more like you scraped misappropriated funds and you put it somewhere else so you could buy this building. Why don't you trust us? Why don't you give us some credit? You've destroyed our relationship, that bond that we share, our vote. You've completely thrown it in the garbage, and you wonder why we're mad? Because you don't give us any respect. You act like somehow you can get whatever you want if you just tell us how much we have to pay you. We're mad, and we should be, because you're a disgrace. You don't allow us our right to vote. You do things on your own, and then you make us pay for it. You're like spoiled children. We don't buy your stories. And I'm not the only one that's mad.
Thank you, Danny. Our next speakers are Walker Mort, followed by Alexander Chamberlain.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council, everyone else. My name is Walker Mort. I reside in Ward 2, and I'm here on behalf with the Equitable Access Eugene to ask you to consider the decriminalization of psychedelic plants and fungi. I'm a veteran of the Army. I served for 8 years as a medical logistics officer, and I now work with the VA as a social worker with the homeless program here in Eugene. And I believe strongly in the healing power of these plants, in healing from anxiety, from depression. And I've experienced it myself, as well as I have personal connections with several other veterans that have also received massive benefits from this. And as I was coming over here this evening with my wife, I was reflecting on meeting a couple years ago with Dr. Lisa Miller, who conducted a nearly decade-long study with young people, and she was looking at suicide. And the military was very interested in this study because we have a high percentage of folks that commit suicide, unfortunately. And so what her research found, and she published this in a book called The Awakened Brain, was that the #1 protective factor protecting against suicide was spirituality, some sort of connection in some form, whatever that may be, and that's unique to each individual. It can be religious or not. And so these plants, these fungi, they really allow people to have that spirituality, have that connection with ourselves, have that connection with our environment, to connect deeper with our communities as well. And so that's why I'm here tonight to speak to you. I appreciate you considering this measure, and my understanding is that some sort of proposal is going to be made in the future more concretely. And I urge you to consider that and to consider the decriminalization so that this can be conducted in a safe and healthy way by the members of our community who will really benefit from it. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Walker. Our next speakers are Alexander Chamberlain, followed by Mike McFarland.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm here because I read a KVAL story that mentioned the cutting of cadets and their city contract. I understand that it was said that the mobile crisis response team could substitute for cahoots. And I think they are doing a good job, but I don't think it is a substitute. I think what cahoots has is a decade of institutional knowledge, community trust, people who have been there a while, learned skills. All these things have made that organization far more effective and efficient than our brand new clone. So I would ask that you don't cut that and you find somewhere else to look for your money. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Our next speakers are Mike McFarland, followed by Rich Locke.
Good evening, Council. My name is Mike McFarland. I maintain a family home in Ward 4. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about history and then make a simple ask to the mayor. November 2022, 187 people showed up at a city council meeting to talk about the gas ban. We all remember that. We had to split the meeting into two. But it was at that moment when Mayor Lucy Venice decided that we would go from 3 minutes to 2.5 minutes for public testimony. And what I'd like to ask for, Mayor, is my 30 seconds back. If you were to have done that at this meeting, and I did a little math in the audience, it would last 9 minutes more. And in a time when we kind of feel a little bit like you're not wanting to hear our voice, Council, I think this would be a very important gesture, and I think there's more than one person that would appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Our next speakers are Rich Locke, followed by Sarah Boom.
Mayor, Council, my name is Rich Locke. I'm a business in Ward 7, and I'm the president and founder of the Eugene Business Alliance. I'd like to make a comment tonight on the last February 24th work session where you folks had a report back from the downtown initiative and how that's going. And many of the difficult questions that you put out there in front of those folks, it was kind of like a deer in the headlights, you know. It really, I don't believe that they were adequately prepared to answer some of those questions, and I appreciate the questions there. And as I did many times prior to coming to a council meeting, I would go walk downtown just to see when it used to be over there at the LCC. And tonight was no different. It kind of reinvigorated my senses. So what I saw, or excuse me, let's see, it still pretty much smells like beer, urine, and pot smoke. I saw mostly folks that your efforts are trying to keep away from the downtown area. And I heard words that you mentioned in the beginning of the meeting I couldn't say in this room. So my senses were telling me that things haven't changed dramatically downtown, although they might have. I think your downtown initiative is driving the folks that you're focusing on downtown into our local neighborhoods. The West Side community, the Whitaker community, the River Road communities, and I'd like to thank Lynn for bringing this up 2 meetings now, and I want to switch my focus to the Eugene image. Who in this room is responsible for Eugene's image? I didn't think any of you were. Do you realize that, you know, they're saying Lane County tops over $1 billion worth of travel into Lane County, right? So that's a lot of money coming in here. And the passage of Highway 99 into the heart of our city says it all. We have no respect for the Eugene image. You folks are responsible for the Eugene image.
Thank you, Rich. Our next and final speaker is Sarah Boom.
Hello, City Council. My name is Sarah Boom, and I am a resident of Ward 7. The police do so much to keep people safe in our community. They prevent violence and theft with their mere presence. Cops work long hours, putting strain on their families to make sure Eugene is a good place to live. Well, I think it's time we stop working our men and women in blue to the bone. As budget deficits spiral upward, you may ask, can we do more with less? I'm proposing that we do less with less. Cops have a power called discretion that allows them to decide whether a particular crime deserves a particular response. This is where the rubber of the law meets the road of enforcement. I am asking you to empower cops to use their discretion to focus on the worst crimes in our community instead of the most crimes. I was beaten, robbed, and sexually assaulted in 2018, but EPD didn't have the resources to respond to my case. However, they have had the resources to throw my friends who used drugs in jail many times since then. I don't know about you, but I would much rather see someone smoking or shooting up in public than someone experiencing actual violence at the hands of another. There are many other situations like this. Armed robberies go unpunished while panhandlers asking nicely get harassed. Sexual violence runs rampant while consenting adult sex workers take up limited jail cells. To summarize, we don't have the resources to punish drug users, sex workers, and panhandlers when thieves, rapists, and murderers are still among us. I know you barely have control over the police despite your control over their budget, but I might ask you nicely to ask them nicely to stop wasting resources that can be used elsewhere. You might just save a Eugenian's life. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Mayor, that was our final speaker.
Thank you. I will now close the public comment period. Are there any comments from city councilors? Councilor Keating.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to express my appreciation to everyone who showed up to provide testimony tonight. The irony, Mike, of advocating for 3 minutes and only taking 1:40 to do so was powerful. I appreciate the comment and observations. Though, as an old radio guy, I might not necessarily agree because I think you can get a lot more out in a short time period, as you articulated so well. Nevertheless, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Scott, Ward 2, thank you for your powerful testimony. Claudette Walker, Ward 2, thank you for your testimony into the Equitable Access Eugene team for showing up. Walker, in particular, I appreciate your service and your sacrifice to this nation. Thank you. Misty in the Dark Sky Coalition. I hear you. I've never taken the opportunity, and I apologize for calling you out in a meeting and responding. But I want to say not only thank you for bringing House Bill 2531 to my attention, a bill that I see is requested by Representative Pam Marsh, and it looks like a fascinating, interesting, and impactful bill. But I also long to partner with your team to hopefully rein in the overuse, this is me personally editorializing, the overuse of digital billboards throughout our community that arguably pollute the night sky with over-the-top illumination. Bright, disturbing billboards create not only a road hazard, but a safety risk worth exploring and hopefully reforming. I want to say thank you for your continued advocacy and for visiting our council meetings and providing testimony. Thank you to everyone who showed up tonight.
Comments from council. Then I will just add one additional comment. Robin, thank you for your concern about our ability to reach all community members in times of emergency or natural disaster. We'll follow up with more information. And also, I know that we do have a radio-based disaster notification system through partnerships, and also that there are AM and FM versions to that. I don't have the details to answer you directly now, but I just wanted to share that into the record that there is concern in our community about how the city and also our partners in Lane County reach people who do not have access to a personal cell phone. And that's incredibly important when we're thinking about all of the children and adults and people across the community who need to know when something very important is happening. So thank you for that comment, and I will find a way to connect back with that information to you. Councilors, seeing no other comments, I will now close the March 10th, 2025 City Council meeting. Thank you all for being here with us tonight, and we are adjourned.